Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Mohammed Idris, for giving us, as the Minister of Education, these opportunities to talk to Nigeria. Let me also recognize the presence of the Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Kayamo, the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor to the President on Media, Mr. Sunday Dare, the two permanent secretaries that are present here today, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Education and Aviation, all head of agencies that are present here today, directors present here, and other senior government officials, and more importantly, members of the fourth realm of our government, the press. Thank you for inviting us and for this big opportunity to talk to Nigeria. The mandate that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given us to totally reform the education system in Nigeria. The several challenges that we met. Can I have projection of the slides? But some of the numbers, projection of it good. So, I'll talk about the challenges, talk about the strategies we've put in place, and a target, and the things we've made quickly in the last several months and in the last almost 2 years that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has took over the leadership of the country. We all know our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a fervent believer and benevolent believer in human capital development. And when you talk about human capital development, what are you talking about? Education, health, and social protection. When the President was campaigning all over the country, he said, I would take difficult. He spoke to Nigerians directly and told them, I'll be honest with you. I'll take difficult decisions. But those decisions that I will take, it's not for now, but for prosperity, for the future of your children and the future of your grandchildren. And when you have a leader making decisions like that, based on the future of your children and your grandchildren, you can be 100% assured that those are right decisions. And when you take right decisions, difficult decisions. That's what this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. And now we're all seeing the results of those difficult decisions. The light at the end of the tunnel, we're seeing it clearly. And I can assure you the tunnel is now getting shorter and shorter. We're getting to El Dorado. And you saw you heard the Minister of Information just reeled out some of the gains that we're seeing. But these are real gains, not superficialities, no band-aid. But these are gains based on real fundamentals of our economy. Now, I'll talk about education. The several challenges that we've met, but some of these numbers are now better. We have about 60 million Nigerians between the ages of 5 and 14 years old. Of these 60 million Nigerians, 45 million of them are learning poor. What do I mean by learning poor? That means a child that belongs to this 45 million within the category of the 5 million people cannot read age-appropriate tests at the age of 10. We have one of the highest burden of children that are learning poor in the country. And we also have an unviable record of having the second highest number of children that are out of school in the world. We need to know our problems so that we can put strategies to clearly and meticulously address these problems. Of these 15 million people, that are out of school. 50% of them have never been enrolled in school. 5% of them are dropout, and 25% of them belongs to the Amajiri category. And there's argument back and forth if the Amajiris are really out of school, because they go to school, but they're just not getting Western education. But we have clear strategy on how to take numeracy, literacy, and vocational skills to these Nigerians. Also, looking at a girl child, the female population, we have 20 million adolescent girls today in Nigeria between the ages of 12 and 19. And 6 million of those young Nigerians are out of school. And with a fertility rate of about 103 births per thousand, we have our population is projected to rise in the next 25 years to 400 million. We have to sprint. Today, we have clear strategies on how to do this, to address all these challenges that have laid before Nigerians. We've come up with clear agenda under our Nigerian Education Sector Renewal Initiative with clear strategic goals, which is moving our nation from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. We have that capacity. Nigeria has a unique demography in the world. Very unique. Good demography that we need to tap. We have a population of 220 million people. Of these 220 million people, 70% of that population, they're below the ages of 30 years. But vibrant, youthful population, dynamic population, eager to learn, eager to work, making changes, both in Nigeria, globally. So what do we need to do as a government is to equip them with the skills that they need. And that's what we're doing exactly at the Ministry of Education, to move our country from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. Clear strategic goal to reduce the number of out-of-school children, reduce learning poverty, increase skills and human capital development. And we have a clear 3 pillars on how we're going to do this and how we're doing this. Equitable access to basic education that include increased level of literacy, numeracy, and critical thinking with skills. Reducing the burden of our out-of-school children and integrating these kids into formal education, giving them formal education, and beyond formal education, giving them life skills for them to be able to be useful to themselves, to the community they live, to the country, and the world at large. The second pillar, increase quality of education and learning outcomes. I'll go into each of our strategies under each pillars. And the third pillar, strengthen governance and management in our education system. With these clear 3 pillars, we have 3 cross-cutting enablers: data and digitalization. We need data. Without data, you can't really plan. We need data to plan, intervene, and monitor outcomes. We've laid out a clear, robust data and digitalization agenda for our education system. I've inaugurated the Nigerian Education Data Infrastructure Platform. We're working closely with the Ministry of Communication, Digital Economy, as well as NIDA. We have a clear agenda on how we will roll all our education data from the foundational level into one data, going to our secondary school level as well as a tertiary school level. We've also started intense collaboration with our subnational government. We've met with the Nigerian Governors Forum, and we also have a series of meetings that are planned ahead. We've worked to rejuvenate the Commissioner of Education, the State Commissioner of Education Forum. We've met several times. We're queuing them in our agenda as we move along. Also, we're also working, developing renewed partnership with the private sector so that we can all coordinate together, plan together, so that we can all be our interventions will be more impactful. Next slide. So, with that has been said, we've laid out 6 high priority intervention areas. TVET, technical vocational education, is the bedrock of what we're doing. We have an expansive agenda to move hundreds of thousands of young Nigerians to give them the life skills that they need. And when we talk about technical and vocational education and training now, it's real technical and vocational training. We adopt the Pareto rule: 20% didactic and 80% practical trainings. When I say Pareto rule, what is success? Pareto is what is success? 80% policy, and 20% policy and 80% implementation. And that's how we can be successful with this expansive TVET agenda. We have clear 4 steps on how we intend to do this. Step 1, we would incentivize our young citizens, Nigerian, to go to seek technical and vocational skills. We will pay them monthly stipend, pay them accommodation to get to where they're going to get the skills. Step 2, the schools that we've identified, 3 clear areas of training. Number 1, the skill training centers, the vocational enterprise institutes, and our state and federal technical colleges will be the 3 major areas where we will be training these children. We will pay these schools decent tuition fee for each student they train. We want to start a new value chain in a technical and vocational education system. As we pay these schools decent tuition, they'll have more funds to invest in building infrastructures, building workshops, and hiring teachers. It's step 3 of what we're doing. I told you we're focusing on practical training. We've identified the mastercraft persons, the large industries, the medium-sized industries, and the artisans. We will pay these industries, these artisans, per child, per citizen that they train. We will use the dual modality. When these kids enroll in school, dual mode of training, when they enroll in school, they will spend 3 days with ID skill centers at the Mastercraft Person Centers. Spend 1 day for their didactic lectures and spend 1 day in their workshop in their school. We've put plans together. We've mapped all these industries to where these skill training centers are, where the vocational enterprise institutes are, and where federal and state technical colleges are. Do that as well. As we do this training, we've done labor gap analysis. We're not just going to be training people based just arbitrarily. We have clear ideas of the labor gap needs of each geopolitical zone. So we'll be doing targeted with clear targets of what we need today. We've added new trades like CNG conversion and maintenance, solar panel maintenance and assembling. We've also put electric. We're using more of electric vehicles, electric tricycles, electric motorbikes. We've added trades like that. And also, as part of our food security, we're putting a lot of emphasis on training in mechanized farming and livestock production. So, step 4. I've told you 3 steps. Step 1, we will incentivize our citizens to seek this technical and vocational education. We will build a new business ecosystem in our vocational schools. And step 3, we will train them very well in those skills and people places. Step 4, as these kids are graduating, we've also put together entrepreneurial grant for the ones that want to start their business opportunity. And all these things that I've said cost money, but I can assure you today that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his fervent belief in human capital development, has given us substantial budget to move this agenda forward. Do we have enough of money that we need? No, but we have a substantial amount of money of almost 120 billion naira that the President has approved for us to move this agenda forward. This Activate program will be launched probably the month of May, at the latest, the first half of June of this year. Spoken about Tibet, we also are putting a lot of renewed emphasis STEM with 2 M's. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medical sciences. Today, our universities are training a lot of our children with no life skills. So we're refocusing our education at tertiary school to focus on areas of needs. Today, we don't have enough nurses in the country. Even if we train 2 million nurses today in the country, there's enough market for them. Let's use our population to saturate these areas of needs. Even if we don't get job here, they'll get job abroad. Those citizens will go abroad, they'll send money to their family. That's a huge direct source of foreign direct investment to the country, giving us well-needed forex. So we're focusing heavily on that. And as we have a lot of these young kids outside that have been trained in courses that they can't get job, we have a clear plan on how to retrofit their skills, to give them new skills. As part of our Tibet agenda as well, that we've embedded in our tertiary, people that graduated from our tertiary schools, institutions, all the final year students, we've developed what we call DTA, Digital Training Academy, to train these kids with skills, give them with skills that they need, that they can in Nigeria or anywhere in the world. They will stay in Nigeria and make decent living. Today, based on UNESCO data, there are about 658,000 vacancies in software development methodologies, about 280,000 vacancies in proactive security that we call cyber security. There are about 168,000 vacancies in IT automation, another 150,000 vacancies in AI and machine learning, about 120,000 vacancies in cloud computing, about 68,000 vacancies worldwide in natural language processing. If you add that together, we have almost 2 million job vacancies out there. So what we're doing with that Digital Training Academy, we're working with trainers now that will offer 6 months to people, young Nigerians, to get this training. We as a government, we will pay for their internet services, we will encourage them, we would find or pay for computer for them or contract with CBT centers. These citizens will be trained 6 months. We will pay for their certification, Cisco certification, AWS certification, Huawei certification, Google certification. Once they get this international certification, they can sit here in Nigeria apply for jobs anywhere in the world, service a company in Singapore, London, Germany, India, and China, and they will get very decent pay. $3,000, $4,000 a month. That's not bad pay. So that's a strategy that we want to use to move a lot of our young kids, to give them these digital skills that they need to service the world. That will launch also on or before June of this year. We have clear plans to address our out-of-school children. We're going to do conditional cash transfer. We're working with the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry on how we're going to do this. We're trying to plan the process on how this will be done. We've gotten the NIPSI to join us as well, so that we can now have a register that is clean, and as these funds go to these parents, we know where exactly we're paying the right people. So we have a clear plan to address on our out-of-school children. We also have launched a Lumina program for a girl child education. That was launched just last week. That part of our strategy is being led by our Honorable Minister of State for Education. So we have clear strategy on how to increase the number of to reduce the burden of girl child that are out of school. Now, I spoke to you about data and digitalization. This, we have clear plans. We've met severally with what-known consultants. We're going to use exactly what India has used. India has a robust digital platform that they call NTA. We've met with the developers of those platforms. We're going to engage them. We'll work to engage them to build that customized digital platform for us, where we begin to take clear foundational education data from JAM, from all our universities, all our polytechnics, NECO data, JAM data, everything will be housed in one platform that we call Nigerian Education Data Infrastructure. And we're building this for sustainability. We have clear funding that we'll continue to use to maintain this data platform. Of course, we're focusing heavily on education quality and assurance. We now have a renewed strategies to address, to quality assure the kind of education we're giving our children. And as we give them this education, we also quality the teachers that are training our children. So that as we do this, the high level of learning poverty that we have will significantly reduce. Next slide, please. So, what are the performances, the performance target? I spoke heavily on the Tibet. We have planned to, between now and 2027, to give 650,000. That's actually conservative estimate. Nigerians, new digital, technical, vocational skills, as well as digital skills, that they would skills that they will use to start working and start making incomes. With our STEM, we have clear strategy on how we're going to quadruple the number of admissions into a medical school, focusing heavily on medicine, pharmacy, nursing, and dentistry. What we've done now, beyond the usual budgetary allocation to medical schools, third fund has been done that all the high impact intervention spending for this 2025 will be directed 18 identified schools that we've carefully chosen in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. The funding will go to improving student classes, improving infrastructures in their lecture auditoriums, in their lab, and also building hostels. As we do this, we'll have clear strategy to expand the capacity of our medical schools. And as we expand the capacity of these medical schools, a major rate limiting step is that they don't have accommodation. Third Fund will also be building accommodation for them in the identified medical school. We're also building simulation labs. We'll be building world-class simulation labs in 6 medical schools across the country. As we build this simulation lab, we can geometrically expand the number of students that we're admitting to our medical schools. With regard to nursing, we would exceed our quadrupling of admission in the next 2 years. We're engaging our National Board for Technical Education, setting up a lot of monotechnics across the country, focusing on nursing and community health. With regards to our out-of-school children, we have targets of moving 10 million citizens, Nigerians, from the street to school. We have clear strategy on how we're going to do that. Today, we're lucky we now have an agency, National Commission for Emergencies and After-School Commission. The law was clearly designed not just to make policy, but also to operate. So we're moving more resources to this agency. And also we're collaborating more with our other agencies that are the agencies that have anything to do with out of school. We now have a ministerial committee that is set up as me as the chairman, Honorable Minister of State, as the vice chairman, and with the ES of UBEC, ES of Nigerian Commission, ES of Nomadic Education, and ES of Nigeria NMEC, so that we're meeting and we're actively looking at our interventions and seeing where our results are going, what we need to change and what we need to intervene. I thought I was giving 30 minutes. I don't think I've used up to that. But then, so next slide, please. Next slide. So we got to our out of girls' child education. We have planned to move to educate additional 1 million girl child in the country. I've spoken about data and digitalization. I've spoken about quality assurance. Now, in the last 18 to 24 months, what have you achieved? Our achievements are there. Let me see the next slide. We have a TEL-fund program, a student loan program is working well. Please, the members of the press, please tell students it's easy. It takes less than 1 minute to start the application. It's online. Today, we have we've invested 43 billion in a loan program. Real beneficiary of this student loan programs. We've embarked on aggressive institutional reform for UBEC. There's a big part of UBEC, this matching grant, this 50% matching grant, that is preventing a lot of our subnational government from accessing these grants. We're working to reform and to make changes to that act, so that we can free up this investment for our subnational government, so that they can direct more funding in coordination with them to a foundational level. You've heard about the 18-year minimum age policy for education that we reversed. For the first time, we now have an anti-bullying policy in the education system and for the country. We have the Hope Education, the Human Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity, a World Bank loan that we're moving quickly to get approved. It will be approved. It's going to the World Bank Council by the end of this month, and once that gets approved, we'll move it to a Federal Executive Council, and then we can begin to direct this funding to our foundational education level. And the way the Hope loan has been designed, it's been designed as a pay for performance. It will be directed at the subnational government, but it will be based on indicators. Clearly marked out quality indicators and delivery indicators. We're engaging our citizens more. Also, the National Library that has been abandoned for the last 2 decades. Mr. President has given marching order for us to resume, to start the construction of the library. Not just orders, the President has also given some money, about 40 billion, for us to resume construction of the library. And we also we're working with the National Sport Commission. Sport is part of education. For the first time now, we're collaborating with the National Sport Council with a Nuga game, Naisiga game, and the Nipoga game. We're collaborating together more intensively. We have a heavy focus in using education to improve our food security. We've earmarked some money today in this 2025 budget to be directed to our University of Agriculture and universities that have big faculty of agriculture. We'll be giving them about 1 billion for them to go into mechanized farming. Also, with student mobility, Mr. President has kindly approved the purchase of electric vehicles, electric buses for some of our universities. These buses will be handed over to the student union, to the respective student unions of these universities, so that they can operate and use it to transport students within their campuses. With regards to our foundational education, we have clear strategy on how we're getting this right now. And I'll tell you a bold agenda. Next slide, please. Bold agenda with a foundational education. With regards to infrastructures, between now and 2027, we will renovate 195,000 classrooms across the nation. We will install 20,000 toilets, 23,000 boreholes across all our schools in the country. We will construct about 7,000 new classrooms, and as we do this, with our learning and teaching and learning materials, we plan to mobilize almost 103 million textbooks. And let me tell you, we're also going to move away from this paper textbook. We will work as we go into the future to ensure that every student in Nigeria has a tablet, where we can now begin to move content, educational content, into these tablets. This is how we can become effective. We're talking with some AI companies that will also give us some AI platform that, as the teacher is teaching the children in school, the AI platform will summarize the salient point of what's being taught. Also, direct them to where they can get additional learning materials. This AI platform would also assist our teachers in developing their teaching plans. So these will be embedded in those tablets. And we also plan to deploy almost 2 million in teaching aids, 2 million supplies of teaching aids to our schools, as well as train and retrain about 1 million teachers within the next 2 years. I think I'll stop I think I've exceeded my time. I'll stop from here. Thank you so much.